Have you ever wondered what the world was like before written history? Before the grand temples and scriptures we know today? What did our earliest ancestors believe? How did they make sense of the vast, mysterious world around them? The answers lie buried not in texts, but in rituals, in the echoes of ancient ceremonies that shaped the very first beliefs of humankind. Today, we journey back in time to uncover these forgotten tribal rituals and explore how they laid the foundation for everything that followed. Imagine a world lit only by fire and stars. Every sunrise was a miracle, every thunderstorm a cosmic battle. For early humans, the world was alive, pulsating with unseen forces and spirits. To survive and thrive, they needed to connect with these forces, to appease them, to understand them. And this is where ritual was born. It wasn't just tradition, it was technology, a spiritual technology for navigating the uncertainties of life. One of the most widespread and ancient practices was animism, the belief that everything, from rocks and rivers to trees and animals, possesses a spirit or a soul. Think about it. A river provides water and food, but it can also flood and destroy. It gives, and it takes away. It was only natural for our ancestors to see it as a powerful, living entity, one that needed to be respected. Rituals would have been performed at the river's edge, offerings of food, preludes, stones, or perhaps a simple song of gratitude. These weren't empty gestures. They were a dialogue with the world, a way of saying, "We see you. We respect your power. Please be kind to us." This fundamental idea of a living, breathing world full of spirits is the bedrock of so many later belief systems. Now, let's talk about the hunt. For hunter-gatherer societies, the hunt was a matter of life and death, but it was also a deep spiritual engagement. Many tribes believed in a master of animals, or a lord of the hunt. This powerful spirit was the guardian of all game animals. To have a successful hunt, you couldn't just rely on your spear or your bow. You had to gain the favor of this master spirit. How? Through ritual. This is where we see the incredible cave paintings of places like Lascaux in France and Altamira in Spain. For a long time, people thought these were just decorations, art for art's sake. But many scholars now believe these deep, dark caves were sacred sanctuaries, the first temples of mankind. The paintings of bison, deer, and horses weren't just pictures. They were magical tools. By painting an animal, perhaps with a spear striking its side, the hunters were performing a kind of sympathetic magic. They were ritually capturing the animal's spirit before the hunt even began, ensuring its success. They would dance, chant, and enter trance-like states in these subterranean cathedrals, connecting with the spirit world to bring food back to their clan. This shows us that, for our ancestors, art, religion, and survival were all woven together. But what about the inner world, the world of the mind and the soul? This is where the figure of the shaman emerges. The shaman was the first priest, the first doctor, the first psychologist, all rolled into one. They were the intermediaries between the physical world and the spirit world. Shamans would embark on spiritual journeys, often induced by rhythmic drumming, chanting, dancing, or the use of psychoactive plants. In these altered states of consciousness, they believed they could fly to other realms, speak with spirits, retrieve lost souls, and gain knowledge to heal the sick or predict the future. The initiation of a shaman was often a grueling ordeal. An aspiring shaman might have to face a period of intense isolation, fasting, and confronting their deepest fears, often described as a symbolic death and rebirth. Through this process, they gained the power and the wisdom to serve their community. The shamanic journey is a powerful archetype that we still see today in stories of heroes who must travel to an underworld or a different realm to gain wisdom. It's a fundamental human story about transformation through trial and tribulation, and it began with these ancient ritual specialists. Rituals also marked the key moments of life: birth, adulthood, marriage, and death. Rites of passage were incredibly important. They weren't just parties. They were powerful, transformative events that changed an individual's status within the tribe. Consider an initiation into adulthood. An adolescent boy might be taken into the wilderness, taught the tribe's secret knowledge, and forced to endure trials of courage and endurance. When he returned, he was no longer a boy. He was a man with new responsibilities and a new place in society. These rituals provided structure, identity, and a sense of belonging. They taught each new generation what it meant to be part of the community, reinforcing the social bonds that were essential for survival. And of course, there was death. Dealing with the loss of a loved one is a universal human experience. For our ancestors, funerary rituals were crucial. Archaeological evidence shows us that even Neanderthals, our ancient cousins, buried their dead with care, sometimes with offerings like flowers or tools. This suggests a belief in some form of afterlife, a journey that the deceased had to undertake. The rituals would have been designed to guide the spirit of the dead safely to the next world and to comfort the living, providing a way to process grief and reaffirm the continuity of the community. From placing a coin in the mouth of the deceased to burying them with their favorite possessions, echoes of these ancient funerary practices can still be found in cultures all around the globe. So, why did these rituals fade into the forgotten category? As societies grew larger and more complex with the advent of agriculture, beliefs began to change. The intimate, animistic world of the hunter-gatherer gave way to more structured pantheons of gods and goddesses, often associated with agriculture, the sun, and the sky. Priesthoods became more organized and hierarchical, replacing the individualistic shaman. Rituals became more standardized, performed in permanent temples rather than in caves or by the riverbank. History began to be written down, and oral traditions and their associated rituals were slowly overshadowed. But they never truly disappeared. The core ideas behind these ancient rituals are deeply embedded in our collective human psyche. The belief in a spiritual dimension, the need for rites of passage, the desire to connect with something larger than ourselves, and the use of ritual to mark important moments and process difficult emotions. All of these are still with us. They are the ancient roots from which the great tree of human belief has grown. When you light a candle for a loved one, celebrate a birthday, or even just make a wish, you are tapping into the same deep, ritualistic impulse that guided our earliest ancestors through the dawn of time. They may be forgotten, but their legacy is everywhere. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back to the dawn of belief. It's incredible to think about how these ancient practices still resonate within us today. If you found this exploration fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into our shared human story. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure. We'll see you in the next video.